There are two types of nature present in Huckleberry Finn. The first is the physical nature and environment that surround Huck and Jim, and the second is the nature of people in the novel.
Besides the less obvious metaphorical connections to nature in the book Huckleberry Finn, some more obvious and physical ones progress throughout the novel. One of these is the relationship with snakes in the characters. In the beginning, when Huck and Jim are hiding out on the island in the cave, Huck puts a dead rattlesnake in Jim's bed, and a live one comes to live with its mate and bites Jim. Later in the novel, it's shown that Jim doesn't like snakes too much. This is a pretty obvious thing.
The Mississippi River is the central location and main element of nature in the entire novel. However, its meaning differs slightly by the end of the book. At first, it represents freedom for Huck and Jim. Huck uses it to escape from Pap and civilized life with the widow, while Jim uses it to literally go for his freedom. However, as the book continues, this freedom that the river gives is warped. Huck and Jim are increasingly forced to go ashore because of perils in the water such as rapids and bandits. Furthermore, they go deeper and deeper into the south with the current. This is symbolic of Jim's waning chances of freedom as he gets further from the Free States and as Huck contemplates turning him in. Ultimately, the river also represents Huck's struggle and the book's theme of civilized life versus natural life. Even though Huck and Jim are in nature on the river, there are always interruptions to their voyage by civilization in the forms of the aforementioned bandits in nearby towns. All in all, the river can be viewed and interpreted in two different ways: its physical presence and its symbolic meaning. Both are equally important. Physically, the river is the transportation for Huck and Finn on their journey. It is Twain's driving force for his plot. Symbolically, the river is the character's freedom and the challenges associated with that freedom. It can also represent Huck's conflict of his natural ruffian lifestyle and the widow's civilized lifestyle.
Chapters 9 to 10. In the end, the rainfall allowed for the plot to progress. It also gave the two the opportunity to explore a floating house. Here, Pap is dead, but Huck is left unaware, and he ponders whether his luck has turned for the good or for worse. And he ignores the weather's foreshadowing of obstacles ahead. Chapters 12 to 13. The weather before had foreshadowed the discovery of a steamboat wreck called the Walter Scott. This marked the end of a peaceful journey on the river and the start of many struggles to come. Chapter 15. The journey to Cairo represents Huck's and Jim's journey to freedom. The road to independence is similar to finding their way through the fog. The river takes a few turns and they face difficulties that they were unable to predict beforehand.
I laid there and had a good rest and a smoke out of my pipe, looking away into the sky, not a cloud in it. The sky looks ever so deep when you lay down on your back in the moonshine. I never knowed it before.
Types of nature we experience in Huck Finn besides the literal nature through the river and the surrounding forest. One of the most specific and most important types of nature is the nature of Huck's relationship with Jim. Throughout the novel, Huck is protecting Jim and doing everything he can to sort of take care of him, and he is at times more of the adult in their relationship than Jim is because of how he has to protect him. At times, Huck struggles with if he should turn Jim in or not as a runaway slave, and we see the evolution of his thinking of Jim and the nature of his thought process as he thinks to Jim throughout the novel. He starts off not even being aware of it until something triggers him and he realizes, I'm with a runaway slave, I'm committing a crime. And as soon as he realizes that he's committing a crime, he immediately wants to turn himself and Jim in. But then when he thinks about it and he realizes everything that Jim has done for him throughout their journey, taking care of him, how much Jim cares for him, he said, Jim told Huck, you're my only real friend that I have in the whole world. And in that moment, Huck realizes, I can't betray this person who has done nothing wrong to me and has only ever helped me in this journey that we've taken. So the nature of their relationship is so important and so significant, and it's really, really important in this story.
What do they stand for? I was going to tell you. When I got all wore out with work and with the calm for you, I went to sleep. My heart was most broke because you was lost, and I didn't care no more about me and the rat. When I wake up and find you back again, all safe and sound, the tears come on, and I get gone down on my knees and almost kiss your foot. I was so thankful, and all you was thinking was how you can make a fool of the old Jim with a lie. The truck does trash, and trash is what people is that puts dirt on the head of their friends and makes them feel shame.
It was 15 minutes before I could work myself up to go and humble myself to a nigger, but I done it, and I weren't ever sorry for it afterwards, neither. I didn't do him no more mean tricks, and I wouldn't have done that one if I'd have knowed it would have made him feel that way.
This scene takes its significance from an idealistic standpoint. The darkness of the night resembles a sign of security for our characters. It goes on to allude the fact that the darkness is a time for rest, and furthers Huck's realization of the significance of his dreams. From the view of literary critic Carl Van Doren, adventure complicates and enhances his freedom. It never ceases, but flows on as naturally as the river which furthers the plot of the story. Huck begins to realize that he and his friends have survived many situations because of the river, including the saving of Jim. This scene illustrates how if this story were to have taken place in another setting, the outcomes could have been drastically changed.